What's up, everybody? Matt Gajeski here, back again with the Odd Shopper channel. And today we're talking college basketball bets ahead of the first round of March Madness. And before we get started, we are brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. They have a phenomenal offer for you guys, an offer that is only available for a limited time through March 19th, where if you're a new customer, you can deposit $5 at least, make a $5 wager on any market, and then once that bet settles, you are going to get $200 into your account. This is going to be paid out in the form of 8 $25 bonus bets. And again, you need to deposit $5 as a new customer, place that $5 wager, and you're instantly going to be credited with that. And if you live in Massachusetts, this is now live there. You can take advantage of this. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. The legal age for gambling in most states is 21 plus. Also, before we get started, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that like button. It helps us a ton. Thank you if you've already done that. If you're on podcast, please leave a rating and review. We're talking bets, and we're recording this on Wednesday evening, so have not seen the outcome of the play-in games yet, but we'll dive right into it, talk a couple games in this opening round, and we'll kick things off with West Virginia taking on Maryland. Maryland catching 2 points here in an interesting game environment overall, and one I think is a bit underrated for Maryland. The total is 137. We're going to be looking at the Terps here. They're the more balanced team overall. You can see an offensive efficiency. West Virginia has a slight edge. They're 55th. Maryland is 62nd overall. But when you dive into some of the stylistics here, Maryland is a team I think that can score from anywhere, but they have a particular advantage inside where they're 93rd in 2-point percentage. Meanwhile, West Virginia is 194th in 2-point defense. So players like Dante Scott are going to have an ability to score inside that West Virginia might not have. West Virginia takes a poor quality of shot overall. They rely a lot on Eric Stevenson creating. If you look at things like rim and three rate, West Virginia takes a lot of long twos, inefficient shots, whereas Maryland takes more high percentage shots overall, which is important because Maryland is a little bit behind West Virginia in effective field goal percentage on offense. But defense is where I see the real edge for this Terps team. They're 61st on defense. West Virginia is 138th. Maryland has some of the best on-ball guard defense in the country, and they're going to be facing an offense where they don't really play their best point guard all the time. Joe Toussaint is not always on the floor for them. And when you're so reliant on the shot creation of Eric Stevenson, you can probably dedicate some extra resources to him overall. And then on the interior, you've got Trey Mitchell. Well, luckily, Maryland's been getting good minutes out of players like Julian Reese, and then they've had Dante Scott all year, which is solid for them. West Virginia does have a slight height advantage. They do have a slight rebounding advantage, and it is very slight. We're kind of splitting hairs here. But another thing I think to worry about is turnovers for West Virginia. We mentioned some of the defense for Maryland and the guards that could harass Stevenson and company. West Virginia is 238th in turnovers on offense, which is going to be a problem. They're also 271st in fouls, which is going to be a problem. Maryland is 23rd in the country generating fouls. It's something they do very well. And then once these teams are on the line, they're both pretty good. So there's a lot of fouling on the West Virginia side. Maryland shooting free throws, they're 105th in the country in free throw percentage. So catching the points here makes a lot of sense for me. I was a little surprised West Virginia was a lock to get in the tournament. I think it's largely because of the conference they play in. But overall, we're going to go with the Terps. A couple other games to talk about here. We're going to get to Utah State versus Missouri, SEC opponent here. Great clash of styles. Interesting level of competition difference. Another spot where we've got a team in Missouri catching 1.5 points. I took Missouri at plus 2.5, so I'm very fortunate here. But I'm interested in things like Missouri money line. I'm interested in Missouri plus the 1.5, and I want to see where this line moves. Basically, you've got a team in Utah State, which is very tall. They're 33rd in height. Missouri is 289th in height. However, Missouri is an excellent shooting team, whereas Utah State plays a lot more through their bigs. So how do we break this matchup down? Let's start offensively because both these teams are awesome. Utah State can certainly play through that height advantage. When you look at Missouri on the defensive side of the ball, they're 254th in interior defense. Meanwhile, from three, they're also not great either, 266th. But what they do well is generate turnovers. So I think most of the defensive numbers from this Missouri team, and as good as they are, come from that turnover generation. This team is fourth in the country at generating them, and Utah State doesn't always take care of the ball. They're 145th there. So that is a potential edge towards the Missouri side, especially on defense. From there, on offense, Missouri's elite at shooting threes. While they might not be the best on the inside, they're actually pretty good, in my opinion. Kobe Brown is solid down there. They're just not deep. They're great at shooting threes. They shoot the 25th most threes in the country, 75 in three-point percentage. And while Utah State does have a defensive edge, they are outside the top 200 in three-point defense. So players like Demoy Hodge should be able to have their way against this Utah State defense, creating a crazy clash in styles, in my opinion. And they're also projected to get Trey Gamillion back. He's a game-time decision for this. That'll be important for Missouri and their depth and give them just an added piece to take on this Utah State team. So again, like taking a team catching the points in the SEC, facing a Mountain West team, plays significantly worse competition here. We'll back the Missouri Tigers catching points here. And then for our final game, we're going to head to another matchup between premier conferences. Auburn taking on Iowa. This one's going to be really fun. It's similar to the game we just talked about, but a little more exacerbated here. You've got a terrible Auburn offense ranked 133rd facing a terrible Iowa defense ranked 252nd. But then you have an awesome Iowa offense ranked 9th facing an awesome Auburn defense ranked 50th. And who wins out? Both teams are pretty tall. No size discrepancy here, really. Iowa is 55th overall. Auburn exactly is 55th, and Iowa's 102nd. So we're splitting hairs here. And even though Iowa has a slight height disadvantage, they actually have a rebounding advantage over Auburn. But what really concerns me here is just Auburn's ability to score in general. They actually take some pretty good shots, and they haven't been able to score all season long. And actually went back and isolated what was Auburn's record against top 50 offenses in the country. They played 15 games against top 50 offenses. Can you guess what the record was? It was 4-11. This Auburn team struggles against teams that will get up and run against you and can score. And Iowa plays in the Big Ten. They play against solid defenses, and they're always in track meet games. This team has multiple weapons who can score, and they have twin towers inside in Philip Bracha and Chris Murray. Tony Perkins has also evolved into a pretty good shooter here, and they get good bench minutes from players like Peyton Sanford. It's a deeper Iowa team than normal. And last but not least, when we look across the scope of these teams' records, Iowa's a team that played a lot of really close games here. There is something to do with luck. If you go to shot quality and look at the shots taken on the floor in every single game, Iowa was expected to win 2 or 3 more games this year than they actually did. So you have a team in Iowa who's a bit of a buy low, an Auburn team with an effective field goal percentage outside the top 200, struggles to shoot against really any team. I'm a little concerned with Auburn, especially because they've been in these spots against poor defenses. We actually talked about one earlier, Missouri. That's a great example in the SEC where you've got a great offense and a poor defense, and Auburn hasn't been able to capitalize. So I'm going to back the Hawkeyes +1. Again, flirting with the money line here. I think these are all live in a situation where Iowa is a bit of a buy low. Before we get out of here, I'm going to show you another tool we have and something that you should be looking at for March Madness. One that I use every single day to identify line movement. And not only that, but just some of the best odds you can find across the industry. And again, this is a Wednesday night recording. So what you're going to see is from Wednesday night. This is our Odd Shopper tool. And what it does is it takes lines, props from across the industry, identifies where you can get your money down best, actually gives you a win percentage of each bet, and then a percentage ROI. For example, on FanDuel, Devon Barnes for Texas Southern, he has a line of over 12.5 points -102. Everywhere else across the industry, this line either is juiced significantly or it's just a straight up different prop, giving you a really good chance to bet this. He actually projects towards the over for us as well. And why I want to bring this up to you guys is we have a free 7-day trial, and there's literally no better time to take advantage of this. This is Thursday. You're probably watching this Thursday morning. If you click this link now, you get Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You're going to get all of the major days for college basketball. You're even going to get some NIT slates on Tuesday and Wednesday. Something you got to take advantage of. Everything here is based from our algorithms looking across the industry to find you the best lines. Click the link in the video description below to check this out. Let me know in the comments what you think about the picks from the video today. Huge slate of games. So tell me what you guys like too. I'd love to hear it. And reach out on Twitter. I'm available at Matt_Gajeski. We'll be back again tomorrow breaking down the Friday games. Until then, good luck, everyone. We'll see you later.